Hello everybody. Afternoon, I believe. It's after 12. It is after the ultra. We're actually midway through June. No, not June. My mind's gone, you see. We're midway through July. And I've come out for a long run. We're starting off as we mean to go on like we normally do, and we're walking through the cows. Today, they seem to be walking away from me, so I feel like I'm herding cows today. Sometimes they're interested and want to come see you. Today apparently, maybe they don't like my outfit, maybe it's the smell, I don't know. But they don't want to come see me today, they're walking away from me. Either is fine. What about you, darling? You want to come say hello? Nope. Not a her. So, yes, I'm out for a long run today. It is very warm and very sunny. I'm just slowly making my way through the cows because although they're quite happy to walk away from me, I don't want to spook them. I want coming along, I think. Plan to do 13 miles today. I'm back on the Cumbria Way, which I've very much been looking forward to because I actually haven't been on the Cumbria Way since, well, a couple of weeks before the ultra now, so 5 or 6 weeks, and I really enjoy the Cumbria Way. It is quite a warm day, so I have got plenty of water with me. I hope it's enough, but I thought it would be a good opportunity to give you a bit of an update as to, bear with me, just climb over a stile, what we're doing going forward, and also a bit of a recap on how the ultra went. Hopefully you've watched that video. If you haven't, go check it out. But now we've had time to reflect and stuff and see how we did. So yes, we'll do that as we go along and enjoy the beautiful day. We've had hardly any sheep so far today, but lots of cows. Well, there not be too many more cows. Quite a few of them have got calves, so it's not ideal. Anyways, so I thought I'd do a quick recap / reflections on the ultra. As I'm filming this, it's been 4 weeks since I did it, and like one of the hardest things I've ever done, feet and ankles, so painful, but also one of the best things I've ever done. I thoroughly enjoyed it, like, even though it was super painful. As soon as I'd finished, and even while I was doing it, I was thinking, I want to do this again, I want to do this again. Yeah, it was good. Day one went pretty much to plan. Our plan was walk the ups, run the downs. That was the plan. So yeah, day one went pretty much to plan. It was really good. My biggest problem on day one was, especially near the end of day one and after we'd finished on day one, I didn't really want to eat, which is an issue. I don't know whether it was just what I had and then what they had at the end for the hot meal I just didn't fancy. I knew I should eat, but it just wasn't appealing to me at all. I'm struggling to walk at the minute because we're going through lots of hay. It's hard to, I can't run in it. Anyways, yeah, so I really struggled to eat it towards the end of day one and afterwards, which was a mistake, and meant I flagged for probably the last 3 miles, and like I said, didn't really want to eat afterwards as well. It was like you had a choice of, I think, curry and spag bol at the end of day one, and well, I don't want curry because that's going to upset my tummy, because it always does. I don't really think that's a good choice for during a run, but that's, you know, there you go. So I went for the spag bol, but I just didn't find it very appealing. I found the spaghetti a bit watery, and which was, I'm not dissing Ultra Challenge for their food, because actually, except for that one meal, their food choices and their rest stations were fantastic. It was just that one meal, and it could have just been that I was so tired and in pain and whatever that maybe it just wasn't appealing to me at the time, but the rest of their food was fantastic. But yeah, so that was my big mistake. Number one was not eating enough near the end of day one, and after we'd finished on day one. We didn't get much sleep in the evening. For anybody that's doing the Lake District one, if you ever do it in the future, it's unlike the others in the fact that you stop at a YMCA thing, which does also have a campsite, but it's not their normal camping options. So normally when you do the Ultra Challenge one, you pay for camping, it's all inclusive, and you get a tent there ready for you, and you just have to take your stuff, and it's like their pitch. But with the Lake District one, they don't have that option. The options are you stay at the YMCA in either a shared room or a private room, but they're more expensive, or you do a pitch only camping, so essentially like take your tent and stuff, which is what we did, and our husbands came and set up our tent for us. But it was not quiet, there wasn't that many people, but even though you're supposed to be quiet after I think 10 o'clock or something, there was people. We went to sleep and woke up, and there were two tents literally right next to us in a big field where there was no other hardly any other tents. People had pitched literally right next to us. In fact, one of them was over our guy wire, and those people were like talking over the top of our tent and stuff. So needless to say, I wasn't necessarily quiet when I got up in the morning, but there we go. But other than that, like, the facilities were fine in that. But I'm definitely going to try one of the other Ultra Challenges in the future, because yeah, it was really good. The rest stops were really good and everything. There was so much food at every rest stop. Day 2 didn't quite go to plan. I mean, it did in the sense that we finished it, but it didn't in the sense that, again, we tried to do the walk the ups and the downs, although the first couple of miles we decided to walk anyways, because we needed to let our breakfast settle, and also we were obviously a bit stiff from the day before. But after that we did the walk the ups and the downs, and that was fine until we got to about I think 20k to go was the big rest stop, and unfortunately Erin, my friend who did it with me, was very much plagued with really bad blisters. Really not, Mummy. You can go first. You go. Go on. Go on then. You're fine. You can come if you want. I'm not going to hurt you. We found the sheep. All is good in the world. They've all got their summer cuts. I think I did freak one of them out, who was obviously the mum in one field, and I see a baby, the lamb. Look how big they are now. They actually look much different with the different coloured heads and fleece and stuff. They don't look like they're the same breed, but they are. Anyways, I was in the other field, so as I went running through, Mum panicked and started bawling. I'm like, no! But it's all fine, and I'm not hurting anybody. But anyways, yes, so yeah, back to Ultra. So I actually didn't get any blisters. So big up for the Injinji socks, toe socks, and Innovate trainers, plus some I don't even think I did put any lubrication on my feet actually when we started. I don't think I put anything on there. No blisters, no rubbing, no nothing like that. I had one problem with feet as far as, so when we got to 29k on the first day, I swapped my trainers. So I had two pair of trainers, my Innovate Trail Talons and my Trail Talons, is that the right ones? Can't remember what they're called now. I'm sure it's Trail Talons. And my Trail Flight Ultra 300s. The idea being to wear the Trail Talons on day 1 and the Ultra Flies on day 2 because they're more cushioned. Unfortunately, day 1 was super rocky in quite a lot of places on the underneath your feet, and the Trail Talons are fantastic shoes, but they're not as cushioned, so my feet were really feeling it by the time we got to that 29k rest stop. So I had phoned ahead and got Tom to bring me my Trailfly Ultras, which were in the car ready for day 2, and I switched to them. I have to say they're my favourites. They are now like the go-to favourite shoe, the Trailfly Ultra 300s. So comfortable. Like I said, no rubbing, no blisters. Good over most surfaces. I don't think they'd be very good in super muddy, but as long as it's not super muddy, I think they'd be totally fine. So I've got on now actually. What is on my feet now? Yeah, they are my faves. They are going to be repurchased. I am interested though to try the Uppbeat park clothes, which is what Ali Bailey's been using on her Run Britannia, because she's been bigging them up, and they're also a bit wider, so I'll try and give them a try as well. But yeah, I love these ones. So yeah, no blisters, no real foot issues as far as injuries goes. I actually came out of it with no injuries at all, just general soreness, which you're expecting a lot of it, but no injuries. The only thing I had any sort of chafing on was my back underneath my bra straps, because unfortunately, so I've got psoriasis, and it's the little red spots on my back. If I sweat a lot and over time, the fabric just rubbing on the psoriasis is what gives me the chafing. So if I didn't have the psoriasis, I don't think I would have chafed. But unfortunately I didn't pre-plan for that, so we used the Vaseline at the aid stations, and Erin stuck it on my back with a stick so that was good. I taped my knees for day 2 because my knees were a bit sore after day 1, because the ascents and the descents on day 1 of the Lake District one was brutal. So I taped my knees. I don't really know if that makes any difference, if I'm totally honest, but it makes me feel better about it. So even if it's placebo, you know, all it helps. But yeah, no injuries. So we started day 2, and I expected to be pretty much crippled after day 1 because I was in a lot of pain, but actually after the probably 4-hour sleep we got, I was a bit stiff, but nowhere near as bad as I thought it would be. And then on the Monday afterwards, again a bit stiff when I first got up, and probably for most of that day, but I had a massage that day as well, so that helped, and actually wasn't too bad compared to what I thought I would be. So I was quite pleased with that. I had a week completely off running, or that was the plan. Ended up being 2 weeks, because at the end of week 1 we did go for a hike, and I ended up getting bitten by horseflies. Hello, little one. Hello. No, can't be bothered, too hard. I don't blame you, darling. Okay, so what's next? As you all know if you've been watching, the plan was to do a race to the castle next year, because it got cancelled this year, so I was deferring to next year. Unfortunately, Threshold have decided that they're not doing Race to the Castle next year. They're also not doing Race to the Tower, I think, next year either. They're only doing 2 of their races. And possibly for the foreseeable future. I don't know if or when it would come back. So for the minute, Race to the Castle is off the table, which I'm not going to lie, I was fairly gutted about, because that was going to be my one to do. But never mind, doesn't really matter. So now I need to find a different one to do. I don't need to, but I want to find a different one to do next year. Got a couple of things in the pipeline that I'm thinking about, and a couple of things we're doing. So one thing we are doing is me and Tom, my husband, and a few other people. We've got a couple of people agreed already, Marcus, our friend, and Sam, our friend, and a couple of others. We're going to walk the first half, the 50k of the Lake District next year. Of the Lake District Ultra Challenge, so the one we've just done. I'm just going to walk it, because these people that are doing it with me are not, a lot of them are not runners at all, and they've never done anything like this, so we're just going to walk it. I'm really proud of Tom for agreeing to do it. It's going to be hard for them, but I think they're going to enjoy it. So yeah, going to walk the first half of the 100k, so do 50k next year for the Lake District Ultra. And then I do also want to find one to do myself that I can do some running in. I don't know which one yet. A few possibilities. There's the Peak District Ultra Challenge. There's a couple in the Lake District that I'm considering, which is the Grand Tour of Skiddaw and also the Cumbria Way. But those two both have a bit more harder cut-offs. They're not hard cut-offs, but they are for me. And yeah, so some others I'm looking at. I do want to still find one in the northeast to do, but it probably won't be next year now, because all the ones I have seen for the northeast are a bit harder cut-off times. So I think the two that I was sort of looking at was, one was Rat Races The Wall, and the other one, I think it's called From Trail Outlaws or something, but it's the St Cuthbert's Way. But I think both of those, whichever one, if it was either of those, would probably be a couple of years time, because I need to get a bit better to meet their cut-offs, I think. But anyways, so that's sort of what's happening, potentials for races to come. I haven't got anything booked right now, except for the Lake District walking. But what I'm aiming to do is just to, I'm so much enjoying the trails and being out and stuff. Those 2 weeks I couldn't run from recovery from the ultra was driving me up the wall. But yeah, building it back up now. I want to try and keep it I don't know, maybe so that I can just go out and do a half marathon whenever I fancy it, sort of thing. So I'm trying to keep that up, and I definitely want to get some more races in. I think I would probably end up saving up and booking maybe 1, maximum 2 ultras a year, rather than doing a number of small races, just so that I can afford to do it. Yeah, that's what the aim is. So for the channel, really, from now you won't get a weekly video like you were before, because I won't have to. Really the aim for that was to promote my first ultra and fundraising and things like that, so I wouldn't necessarily be doing a weekly video. And I won't film all my runs or all my long runs. It'll be a case of, if I go somewhere interesting or new or pretty, because like today I'm on the Cumbria Way, which you've seen multiple times. It's absolutely stunning. It's beautiful, but you have seen it before, so I won't need to film that every time. So we'll just see how we get on. I'll make a few videos here and there. Won't be as many as before, but if there's anything anybody would like to see, let me know. If you want to see me go somewhere in particular in the Lake District, let me know. I'll see what I can do. Can't make any promises. Something else that shows we haven't been here for a while, around here, where it's essentially a jungle. It wasn't when we came last time. these fern things were probably a couple inches high, and that's only been in 6 weeks. So even though I have been up the Cumbria Weir quite a few times now, as far as Town House or whatever, every time you come up it does look very different because it changes with the weather. Obviously today is very sunny and beautiful, so that part looks different, but also everything's grown, so it does look very different. So that's lovely. You can come to somewhere you've been many times and still get some surprises. I'm coming near to the end of my run now. It is very, 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 very hot today. I've sweated a lot. I've really enjoyed being out in the sunshine though. I'm back on the Cumbria Weir. Although I would have said I'm fully recovered from my ultra, I still think I'm feeling it when I do the longer runs in my ankles, in my feet. I don't know if I've ever mentioned before, but I do have flat feet, so I was building up my actual ankle strength previously, but obviously during the ultra the arches started collapsing again because it was tired and stuff, and I think that's not necessarily built back up again. What I really need to do is get some strength training done. I'm rubbish at doing that, but I'm determined that I'm going to do some of that from this year. So I'm gonna commit now to doing twice a week to start with, for like 20 minutes to half hour of some strength training. So I've said it now on video, so I have to do it. So yeah, I'm gonna commit to that for now. And yeah, don't know when the next adventure will be. I'm gonna continue running obviously, but when I next create my next video, I don't know. But I will see you then. Enjoy the summer, enjoy the sunshine. I'm going to get picked up by Tom, who's bringing me a cold drink, and then we're going to have a barbecue when we get home after I've had a bath obviously. So see you next time, bye.